acompaña una de las senadoras, una mujer sumamente importante, bella, simpática, dinámica, cuyo nombre es Nguyen Van Tho, a quien le vamos a preguntar cuáles son sus actividades, aparte de las de mujer y madre de 4 niños, en el Senado. Mrs. Van Tho, what are your activities in the Senate, usually?
Well, I'm a member of the Senate, which includes 60 senators. We are 2 women senators, another lawyer and myself. So we are the minority among the other members who are all men and very dynamic and very initiative. But I belong to the Black Social Democrat group in the Senate. And most of the time, when we are in plenary session, we discuss on our project laws and the different matters. When we are not in plenary sessions, then we have committee meetings. And I am right now the chairman of the Labor and Social Welfare Committee. And you are right now in our room. Yeah. And I'm very pleased to meet you and to greet you in our committee headquarters.
You're very kind. Thank you very much. Mrs. Tho, apart from the activities from the Senate, will you tell us about your activities as a mother or as a woman?
Well, you know, it's very complicated to try to combine all your activities in 24 hours, especially when you have a family task to do daily and social responsibilities and being also involved in politics. But I try very much to do it in the way I think is the best, not only for myself, but for the family and also for the society. And besides my Senate activities, I am taking care also of orphanages and disabled people, crippled children. Right now I'm sponsoring a center for crippled children, and I'm sponsoring also the different orphanages which are around Saigon area and also the provincial cities. And also, as far as the women are concerned, I am right now the General Secretary of a Women Association in Service to Society, and we share responsibilities in going visiting different victim center and sponsoring clinics or kindergarten centers. And there are so many things to do if you want to talk about social welfare. But with my children and my family, I think I try to give them as much time as I can. But my husband is always complaining, and I think we have to suffer one way or another, and you have to do some sacrifices one way or another. So I think the family is suffering.
Would you tell us what exactly your husband says about all your activities?
Well, he said he's not very happy, but he thinks after all, we are the citizens of Vietnam, and we try to do our best as long as we keep our line of behavior in the right comportment, and especially for women, because he thinks that the woman's place is always center in the family, and he thinks whatever I do, whatever I say, I still have to remember that I still have a family to care for and a husband who's still the boss. So I admit that he's still the boss, the master, and the lord of the house. And I'm sure that you will agree with me. Mexico and elsewhere.
In every place. Your children, what do they say about it? Do they miss you much, or?
Yes, they do. Some of them think that I spend too much time outside, and the boys enjoy it because sometimes they would go along and they would participate in some of my social activities, because I'm also the sponsor for Boy and Girl Scouts of Vietnam, and my husband is the president of the Boy Scout Association, and all our children are Cub Scouts. And because we are living in a country at war and at wartime, so I like to prepare my children for a hard future. And I think that it's only a good way for them to see what's going on, to experiment with the different events happening in Vietnam. They see, so they are prepared for their future. And at the same time, they know that they are the privileged one to be able to help the less privileged than they are. And there are so many unhappy and misfortunate people around us. And I like my children to be realistic and practical of what they are going to do now and for the future. But of course I have a little girl who is 6 years old, and she said that someday she's going to be a senator too, but she's not going to leave home as often as I do. So you can see the contrast of her mind and reasoning. And sometimes I think that it's too much for a woman to try to do so many things, but because I realize that the country needs us, so we try our best to do what we can.
You said that your husband and children were working in the Boy Scouts Association. Apart from the Boy Scouts, do you have another activity in common?
Yes, my husband is also sponsoring the Vietnamese judo group, and I'm also a judo sponsor only.
You don't do it?
No, I don't do it. I like to. It's always a good self-defense system. But I think that I always believe in the providence, and God take care of me wherever I go. But as far as my husband and myself, we have many, many activities in common. The youth, the Boy Scouts, and even in the welfare. Whatever I like, whatever I do, I like my husband to participate in. If he cannot really join me in those activities, at least he's there as an advisor. And whatever he do, I think I have to assist him. Whether in any association in which he becomes the general secretary or the president, then the rest of the work I have to do it. So one way or another, we are working very closely together.
It sounds like a very happy family. Madame To, would you like to say a word to the Mexican people?
Yes, Madame Gomez. I'm not a good talker either, but while you are here, I'd like to take this opportunity to say hello to the Mexican people and friends through you. And I want to say also that 2 years ago I had the opportunity to welcome a Mexican lady, a young lady in my home for 2 months. And by having that friend staying with us in our family, she has explained to our people, our family, and all our friends what is really Mexico. Maybe she did represent Mexico in the whole, but she was a typical Mexican girl, and we love Mexico through her. And now with you, and I hope that you can bring home a very simple message from a Vietnamese woman who happened to be a senator, which means to represent some people of Vietnam. We Vietnamese people have a lot of esteem and friendship for the faraway friends, the Mexican friends. But we are not able to commute or to communicate up to now because the distance is so far away and the possibilities are limited for our two countries. And we like all our friends who live in the free world to understand what Vietnam is trying to do, what the Vietnamese people are suffering, only in the objective interviews, to protect our freedom, to gain our liberty, to maintain our independence. But I'm sure that you understand that all people in this world are free and peace-loving people. But if we want to go on with this war, if we are fighting, it's because we want to maintain and to keep up with our freedom and keep up with what we always strive and long for, the human dignity in love, peace, and harmony.